The Galactic Ultimatum. The room was filled with tension. Leaders from every nation on Earth sat around a long oval table in a secure underground bunker. The air was thick with uncertainty as a giant holographic screen flickered to life. For weeks, strange signals had been intercepted from deep space, growing stronger each day. And now, the source had finally revealed itself. The hologram displayed the image of an alien, a tall humanoid figure with silver skin, glowing red eyes, and a voice that echoed unnaturally. This was Admiral Calith, a representative of the Galactic Empire. He stood in his ornate uniform, radiating authority and menace. "People of Earth," the alien began, his voice deep and cold, "I am Admiral Calith of the Galactic Empire. Your world has been observed for centuries, watched as you stumbled through wars, technology, and chaos. We allowed you to grow, to develop. But now, your time of independence is over." The leaders exchanged uneasy glances. Some whispered among themselves, while others remained frozen, their eyes fixed on the screen. "The Galactic Empire has decreed that Earth will join our dominion," Calith continued. "You will surrender your sovereignty, your armies, and your resources. In exchange, we offer protection and a place within the Empire's vast network of civilizations." The room erupted in murmurs. The leaders whispered urgently, some angered by the demand, others frightened by the consequences of refusal. Calith raised a hand to silence them, as if he could see their reaction through the transmission. "Do not test our patience," Calith warned. "Many worlds have resisted, only to be reduced to ash. You have one planetary cycle minus 24 of your Earth hours to decide. Submit or face annihilation." With that, the transmission ended. The room fell silent, save for the faint hum of the holographic equipment powering down. The leaders sat in stunned silence, processing what they had just heard. The president of the United Earth Council, a stern woman named Maria Cortez, was the first to speak. "We cannot surrender," she declared firmly. "To give in means we become slaves to their empire. Earth has fought too hard to reach where we are now." "But what choice do we have?" asked General Vaughn, a military strategist known for his pragmatism. "If what they say is true, their technology is far beyond ours. We'd be ants fighting against a hurricane." Around the table, arguments broke out. Some leaders demanded immediate surrender to save lives, while others insisted on fighting, even if it meant certain death. The chaos grew louder until the sound of a sharp knock on the door silenced the room. A tall man stepped in. He wore a black uniform with no insignia, his sharp eyes scanning the room with calm confidence. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "my name is Commander Oran. I lead Earth's most classified defense initiative, Project Aegis, and I'm here to tell you that surrender is not an option." The leaders stared at him in confusion. "What is Project Aegis?" one of them asked. "And why haven't we heard of it before?" Commander Orion smirked. "Because it wasn't meant to be public knowledge. For decades, we've known we're not alone in the galaxy. Our scientists have been studying alien signals and technology. We've prepared for this day. Earth is not as defenseless as the Galactic Empire believes." Before anyone could respond, a technician rushed into the room, holding a tablet. "Sir, we've intercepted something," he said breathlessly, handing the device to Orion. The commander studied the screen and frowned. "They've sent scout ships," Orion announced grimly. "3 of them. They'll be at the edge of our solar system in less than 2 hours." Panic rippled through the room. "They're testing us," General Huang muttered. "They want to see how we'll respond." Orion nodded. "Exactly. And we're going to respond in a way they won't expect." "What do you mean?" President Cortez asked, narrowing her eyes. Orion turned to her, his expression resolute. "Earth's first line of defense is operational. We have stealth drones armed with advanced weapons, technology we've reverse-engineered from the very signals the Empire has been broadcasting for decades. We'll intercept their scouts and send a message of our own." "But won't that provoke them further?" another leader asked. Orion's smirk returned. They already intend to destroy us if we resist. The only way to survive is to show them we're not an easy target." The room fell silent again, but this time the fear was mixed with a glimmer of hope. For the first time, the leaders felt the faintest possibility that Earth might have a chance. "Then it's decided," President Cortez said, standing tall. "We do not surrender. Let the Galactic Empire know that Earth is not a planet to be conquered." The leaders nodded in agreement, their resolve strengthening. Outside, in the darkness of space, the Galactic Empire's scout ships drew closer, unaware that humanity was about to unveil its secret weapons. And so, the countdown began. Earth had 24 hours to prepare for the biggest fight in its history. The question remained, was Commander Orion's confidence well placed, or was humanity staring down a battle it couldn't win? Earth's secret weapon. The scout ships arrived at the edge of the solar system, sleek and menacing, their dark surfaces glinting under the distant sun. Each vessel bristled with advanced weaponry, sensors scanning for any sign of resistance. From their vantage point, Earth looked like an insignificant blue marble, a primitive world that should have been easy to conquer. But something was wrong. "Commander, the scout ships have entered the perimeter," reported an officer in the Earth Defense Command Center, a hidden facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Giant screens displayed live feeds from Earth's stealth satellites, tracking the movements of the alien vessels. Commander Orion stood at the center of the room, arms crossed, his expression unreadable. "Good," he said calmly. "Let them think they're safe. They won't see us coming." Behind him, technicians and analysts worked furiously at their stations. Earth's defense systems, the result of decades of secret research, were coming online. For years, humanity had studied the strange alien signals that had been intercepted, learning, adapting, and quietly building weapons in the shadows. "Prepare the Valkyries," Orion ordered. The Valkyries were Earth's secret weapon, stealth drones outfitted with hybrid technology, blending human engineering with the mysterious energy patterns decoded from alien transmissions. Unlike anything else in Earth's arsenal, these drones were designed to be invisible to enemy sensors, striking with precision and speed. Meanwhile, the Galactic Empire's scout ships continued their advance, their crews growing more puzzled by the lack of resistance. "No planetary defenses detected," one of the pilots reported to the fleet's admiral, who was monitoring the mission from the Empire's flagship. "The planet appears completely unprotected." "Impossible," Admiral Keleth growled, his glowing red eyes narrowing. "No world is this defenseless. Increase your scans. Look for anything unusual." But before the scouts could act, they were struck. The Valkyries appeared out of nowhere, their sleek black forms emerging from the shadows of space. The first drone fired a concentrated energy pulse, disabling one of the scout ships before its crew could react. The second ship tried to engage its shields, but the Valkyries were too fast, striking with pinpoint accuracy and tearing through the ship's hull. "Scout ships are under attack," came the frantic report to the flagship. "Unknown enemy vessels, stealth capabilities, requesting backup." Admiral Keleth's expression darkened. "Impossible. Earth shouldn't have this technology." Back on Earth, the Defense Command Center erupted in cheers as the screens showed the drones systematically dismantling the alien scouts. Commander Orion allowed himself a small smile. "Let them report what they've seen," he said. "The more they underestimate us, the better." But not everyone was celebrating. In a quieter corner of the command center, Dr. Elena Reyes, a brilliant scientist who had been instrumental in decoding the alien signals, approached Orion. Her face was pale, her voice hushed. "Commander, there's something you need to know." Orion raised an eyebrow. "Go on." Dr. Reyes hesitated. "The energy signatures we've been using, the ones we reverse engineered, they weren't just random signals. They were warnings. Whoever sent them didn't want us to replicate this technology. There's a risk." Orion frowned. "What kind of risk?" "An energy feedback loop," she explained. "If the Valkyries are used too many times, they could destabilize. And if that happens— "Stop," Orion interrupted, his tone firm. "Earth doesn't have the luxury of fear right now. We'll deal with the risks when the time comes." As the battle in space came to a decisive end, the last remaining scout ship limped back toward the Galactic Empire's fleet, its hull battered, its systems barely functional. The Empire now knew Earth wasn't defenseless, but the exact nature of its weapons remained a mystery. Hours later, a new broadcast from the Galactic Empire appeared on screens across Earth. Admiral Calith's image returned, his expression colder than before. "People of Earth," he intoned, "your actions have been noted. You believe you can stand against the might of the Galactic Empire. You believe your primitive technology can save you. Let me assure you, it cannot." The screen flickered, and a new image appeared. A massive ship, unlike anything Earth had ever seen. It dwarfed the scout ships, its surface glowing with energy fields that shimmered like a second skin. "This is the Starbreaker," Calith announced. "A weapon that has conquered entire star systems. You have 12 hours to surrender, or we will use it to wipe your planet from existence." The screen went black. The room fell silent once again, but this time the tension was even thicker. Orion turned to the team, his face grim. "We've shown them our first move," he said. "Now they'll throw everything they have at us." Dr. Reyes stepped forward. "Commander, if they're bringing the Starbreaker, we need to use the Aegis shield." Orion shook his head. "The shield is untested. If it fails, if we don't use it, there won't be an Earth left to protect," she interrupted. Orion sighed, nodding reluctantly. "Activate the Aegis shield," he ordered, "and prepare for the Starbreaker's arrival." As the countdown continued, Earth's leaders faced an impossible choice. They had won the first round, but the Galactic Empire was about to unleash its full fury. And deep in the shadows of the command center, Dr. Rice couldn't shake the feeling that their greatest weapon might also be their greatest threat. The battle for Earth was only just beginning. The Forbidden Zone. The Galactic Empire's fleet began its approach, the Starbreaker leading the charge like an unstoppable force. Its sheer size blotted out the stars, and the energy rippling across its surface sent a clear message. Resistance was futile. Behind it, hundreds of smaller warships followed, ready to unleash destruction upon Earth. But Earth was far from unprepared. In the hidden command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Commander Orion stood before the Global Council of Leaders. A holographic map of the solar system glowed in the center of the room, showing the Empire's fleet entering Earth's outer perimeter. "This is the moment we've been preparing for," Orion said firmly. "The Starbreaker may be the largest weapon they have, but it's not invincible." President Cortez, seated at the head of the table, leaned forward. "And what about Earth's citizens? They don't know what's happening. How do we prepare them for what's coming?" Orion's expression hardened. "They won't need to prepare. They'll be safe, if we succeed." Before anyone could question him further, the holographic map flickered as the ships moved closer. The technicians monitoring the system called out updates. "Enemy fleet entering the asteroid belt. They're testing our defensive perimeter." The council watched as the Starbreaker slowed its approach, launching a wave of drones to clear a path through the debris. It was a calculated move, one that suggested the Empire still believed Earth's resistance was nothing more than a bluff. Orion turned to his team. "Initiate Protocol Alpha. Let's give them something to think about." In the cold vacuum of space, something extraordinary began to happen. The asteroid belt surrounding Earth's solar system came to life. Small, seemingly ordinary rocks suddenly pulsed with energy, revealing hidden defense platforms embedded deep within them. These were Earth's first line of defense. Automated turrets and energy disruptors camouflaged as harmless debris. The drones leading the Empire's advance were the first to encounter this trap. Bright streaks of light cut through the void as the platforms opened fire, shredding the drones with precision. The smaller warships behind them hesitated, caught off guard by the unexpected resistance. Inside the Starbreaker, Admiral Caliph watched the scene unfold with mild annoyance. "Primitive tricks," he muttered. "Destroy them." The Empire's warships moved forward, targeting the platforms with heavy fire. But as they did, something strange occurred. Their systems began to malfunction. Engines sputtering, shields flickering. Back on Earth, Dr. Rice monitored the situation from her station. "The energy dampeners are working," she reported. "The platforms are interfering with their systems." Orion nodded. "Good. Let's see how far they're willing to go." As the battle raged, Earth's leaders broadcast a message to the Galactic Empire. It was transmitted on all frequencies, echoing across the stars. "This is Earth," President Cortez declared. "To the Galactic Empire, your entry into our solar system is forbidden. Any attempt to approach will be met with resistance. We will not surrender, and we will not be conquered." The message was simple, yet defiant. It was accompanied by images of the destroyed scout ships and the automated defenses in action, a warning to the Empire that Earth was far from defenseless. But the Empire didn't back down. Inside the Starbreaker, Admiral Caliph's expression grew darker. "They think they can scare us," he said to his officers. "They're trying to delay the inevitable, but their tricks won't stop us." He turned to his fleet commander. "Prepare the Starbreaker's main weapon. Let them see the true power of the Empire." Back on Earth, Dr. Rice was growing increasingly concerned. Despite the success of the asteroid defenses, the Empire's fleet was adapting quickly, and the Starbreaker was now within striking distance. She approached Commander Orion, her voice low. "We need to activate the Aegis shield now," she said urgently. "If the Starbreaker fires its main weapon, it will be catastrophic." Orion hesitated. The Aegis shield was Earth's most ambitious project, a planetary defense system that could create an energy barrier strong enough to withstand even the most powerful attacks. But it was still untested, and using it too soon could leave Earth vulnerable. "Not yet," he replied. "We need to draw them in closer. If we activate the shield too early, they'll find a way to counter it." "But Commander—" "Trust me, Reyes," he interrupted. "We're not done yet." Meanwhile, the Galactic Empire's warships began deploying ground forces on the Moon, establishing a forward base to prepare for a potential planetary invasion. From their vantage point, Earth hung in the distance, a glowing blue sphere that seemed fragile and insignificant. But as the Empire's soldiers set up their equipment, they began to notice strange signals interfering with their communications. Systems failed without explanation, and mysterious shadows darted across the lunar surface. Unbeknownst to them, Earth had another secret weapon: specialized strike teams trained in covert operations, using advanced cloaking technology to sabotage the enemy from within. These were the Ghost Squads, and they operated with surgical precision. As the Empire struggled to maintain control of the Moon, Admiral Caliph made his move. The Starbreaker powered up its main weapon, a massive energy cannon capable of vaporizing entire continents. The weapon's charging sequence sent waves of energy rippling across space, a terrifying sight visible even from Earth. In the command center, alarms blared as the technicians reported the activation of the Starbreaker's weapon. All eyes turned to Commander Orion. "It's time," he said, his voice calm but resolute. "Activate the Aegis shield." The technicians scrambled to comply, and deep beneath Earth's surface, a massive energy generator roared to life. Across the planet, hidden nodes began emitting pulses of light, connecting to form a shimmering barrier that encased the Earth in a protective shell. The Aegis shield was online. As the Starbreaker's weapon fired, a blinding beam of energy hurtled toward Earth. The Council held their breath as the beam collided with the shield, creating a deafening explosion that lit up the sky. For a moment, it seemed as though the shield might hold, but then cracks began to form. "The shield is destabilizing," Dr. Rice shouted. Commander Orion's jaw tightened. "Reinforce it. Redirect all power if you have to." The battle had reached a critical point. The shield was holding, barely, But Earth's defenses were being pushed to their limits, and deep in the shadows of space, the Galactic Empire's fleet prepared for its next move. The fight for Earth was far from over. The Galactic Spy. The aftermath of the Starbreaker's initial assault left Earth's leaders rattled but determined. The Aegis shield had held, but just barely. In the depths of the command center, the room buzzed with activity as technicians worked frantically to repair the cracks in the shield. Commander Orion stood by the central display, studying the holographic map of the solar system. "They're regrouping," Orion said, pointing to the Empire's fleet, which had pulled back just beyond the asteroid belt. "They'll come at us harder next time." Dr. Rice approached him, her face pale with worry. "The Aegis shield can't handle another hit like that, Commander. We need time to reinforce it." "We don't have time," Orion replied. "We need to know their next move before they make it." As if on cue, an encrypted message appeared on one of the monitors. It was from the Ghost squads stationed on the moon. Orion read the report and frowned. "It seems the Empire's ground forces are setting up a command center on the moon. If we can infiltrate it, we might be able to disrupt their operations." President Cortez, who had been silently observing, spoke up. "What about capturing one of their officers? If we can extract information from them, it could give us the advantage we need." Orion nodded. "It's a risk, but it might be our best chance." Meanwhile, on the moon, the Empire's troops were unaware of the danger lurking among them. The Ghost squads moved like shadows, sabotaging equipment and intercepting communications. Their latest mission was their most daring yet, capturing a high-ranking Empire officer who had recently arrived to oversee the operation. Lieutenant Merax was a seasoned operative of the Galactic Empire, known for his cunning and loyalty. He was reviewing tactical plans in a makeshift command tent when the lights suddenly flickered. The sound of footsteps echoed faintly, but when Merax turned, no one was there. Before he could react further, the Ghost squad struck. Using their cloaking technology, they subdued him quickly and efficiently, disabling his comms and rendering him unconscious. Within minutes, Merax was on his way to Earth, a captive of humanity's most elite operatives. Back on Earth, Merax was brought to a secure interrogation room deep within the command center. He awoke to find himself restrained, with Commander Orion and Dr. Rice standing before him. "You'll never win," Merax sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. "The Galactic Empire has conquered systems far more advanced than your pathetic little world." Orion leaned forward, his tone calm but steely. "We don't need to win. We just need to survive." Merax laughed. "Survive? Against the Starbreaker? Against the full might of the Empire? Your shield is failing, your defenses are crumbling, and your people don't even know what's coming." Dr. Reyes stepped forward, holding a small device. "We'll see about that." She activated the device, which emitted a low hum. "This is a neural interface. It's designed to extract memories. You can cooperate, or we'll take what we need by force." Merax's confidence faltered for a moment, but he quickly recovered. "Do your worst. You'll get nothing from me." The device began its work, projecting fragments of Merax's memories onto a nearby screen. Scenes of the Empire's massive fleets, advanced weapons, and brutal conquests played out before the Earth leaders. But then, something unexpected appeared, a hidden archive showing schematics for the Starbreaker and a mention of a critical vulnerability. Dr. Reyes paused the playback. "What's this?" she asked, pointing to a glowing section of the ship. "The core. It's unstable. If we target it, the entire ship could collapse." Merax's face darkened. "You don't understand what you're dealing with. If you attack the core, the energy release will destroy everything in its vicinity, including your planet. Then we'll have to find a way to neutralize it without triggering a detonation," Orion said, his mind already racing with possibilities. While the interrogation yielded valuable intelligence, it also brought new dangers. Merax had planted a hidden tracking device on his armor, and the Empire had traced his location to Earth. Within hours, the fleet began advancing again, this time with a more aggressive strategy. "They know we have him," Orion said grimly. "They're coming for their spy, and for us." In orbit, the Empire deployed an advanced cloaked ship, carrying a team of infiltrators. Their mission: rescue Merax and sabotage Earth's defenses from within. The infiltrators used cutting-edge technology to bypass Earth's early warning systems, slipping through the Aegis shield undetected. Inside the command center, alarms blared as the infiltrators breached the facility. They moved with precision, disabling critical systems and planting explosives. Chaos erupted as Earth's security forces engaged them in a desperate fight. Orion and Dr. Rice were in the middle of coordinating the defense when a sudden explosion rocked the facility. The lights flickered, and smoke filled the air. Orion grabbed a weapon and led a small team to confront the infiltrators. The battle was brutal but short. Earth's forces managed to repel the attack, but not without heavy losses. By the time the dust settled, the infiltrators had been neutralized, but the cost was high. Parts of the command center were severely damaged, and the Aegis shield was offline. As the Empire's fleet drew closer, Earth was now more vulnerable than ever. Merax remained in custody, his presence both a blessing and a curse. The intelligence he provided offered a slim chance of victory, but the risks were greater than ever. In the aftermath, Dr. Rice approached Orion, her voice filled with urgency. "We have to act now. If we can take out the Starbreaker's core, we might be able to stop the fleet, but we need to strike before they reach Earth." Orion nodded, his resolve unshaken. "Then we'll launch a strike team. We've come too far to back down now." As the countdown to the final battle continued, Earth prepared for its boldest move yet, an all-out attack on the heart of the Galactic Empire's greatest weapon. The fate of humanity rested on a fragile balance of courage, strategy, and sheer determination. The question was no longer if they could survive, but how much they were willing to sacrifice to ensure their survival. The Empire strikes back. The Galactic Empire wasted no time after learning of Merax's capture. The Starbreaker's immense presence loomed closer, its fleet now supported by newly deployed ships designed specifically for planetary sieges. Earth's defenses, already weakened by the infiltrators, scrambled to prepare for the impending assault. In the command center, Commander Orion stood before his team, his voice steady but urgent. "The Starbreaker is our primary target. If we take it out, the rest of their fleet will be vulnerable. But the core, it's a risk we can't ignore. Rice, do we have any alternatives?" Dr. Rice hesitated, scanning the schematics they'd extracted from Merax. "We might have one option," she said slowly. "If we can infiltrate the Starbreaker and disable its energy regulators, the core will destabilize gradually. That would give us time to evacuate the area before it detonates." President Cortez, listening intently, crossed her arms. "And what are the chances of success?" Rice glanced at Orion. "Low. But it's the only way to stop them without destroying ourselves in the process." Orion nodded. "Then we assemble a strike team. We'll need our best for this." Meanwhile, the Empire had not been idle. Using intelligence gathered from the failed infiltration, they activated a new weapon. The Void Breakers, a group of elite shock troops armed with energy weapons capable of cutting through any known defenses. Their mission was simple: break through Earth's planetary defenses and secure the planet for the Empire. The Void Breakers launched an assault on the Moon, overwhelming Earth's ghost squads and forcing them into retreat. With the lunar base now under the Empire's control, Earth's outer defense perimeter crumbled further. The Starbreaker edged closer, preparing to deliver its final blow. On Earth, the strike team prepared for their mission. Among them were seasoned operatives, engineers, and a single ghost squad member who had narrowly escaped the Moon. Each carried specialized equipment designed for one purpose: infiltrating the Starbreaker and surviving long enough to disable its systems. "You'll be on your own out there," Orion told the team during the briefing. "No reinforcements, No second chances. The fate of Earth depends on you. As the strike team boarded their stealth ship, Reyes handed Orion a small device. "If anything goes wrong," she said, "this might give you a fighting chance." It was a prototype energy disruptor, capable of temporarily shutting down the Starbreaker's systems. Orion accepted it with a nod, his expression unreadable. The infiltration began as the stealth ship approached the Starbreaker, slipping through its outer defenses unnoticed. The team entered the massive vessel through a maintenance hatch, moving quickly and silently through its labyrinthine corridors. Inside, the Starbreaker was a city in itself, filled with alien soldiers, advanced machinery, and endless energy conduits glowing with power. As the team made their way toward the core, they encountered their first challenge: automated security drones. The drones scanned for intruders, their mechanical eyes glowing a menacing red. Using their cloaking technology, the team managed to evade detection, but the tension was palpable. "This place is a fortress," one of the operatives whispered. "How are we supposed to shut this thing down?" Orion's voice came through their comms, calm and steady. "Stick to the plan. Reyes says the regulators are near the core. Once you're there, you'll have a clear shot." Back on Earth, the situation grew dire. The Void Breakers had begun their planetary assault, targeting key cities and infrastructure. Earth's remaining defenses struggled to hold the line, but it was clear they couldn't withstand the assault for long. President Cortez addressed the global population, her voice broadcast across every channel. "Citizens of Earth, we are facing our darkest hour, but we will not surrender. We will fight, and we will endure. Stand together, protect each other. Humanity will not fall." Her words ignited a spark of resilience in the population. Across the globe, civilians joined the fight, using whatever means they had to support Earth's forces. Resistance movements sprang up, slowing the Void Breakers' advance and buying precious time. Inside the Starbreaker, the strike team reached the core. It was a massive, pulsating sphere of energy, suspended in the air by glowing conduits. The regulators, glowing with alien runes, surrounded the core like a protective barrier. The team worked quickly, planting charges on the regulators to disable them. But just as they began, alarms blared. The Starbreaker's automated defenses activated, and the corridors flooded with alien soldiers. "We've been compromised," one of the operatives shouted. Orion's voice came through the comms. "Stay focused. Finish the mission." The team fought fiercely, using their advanced weapons and cloaking devices to hold off the attackers. But the enemy's numbers were overwhelming. One by one, the operatives fell, until only a few remained. With the regulators nearly disabled, the last surviving operative activated the charges. "It's done," they said, their voice filled with resolve. "The core is destabilizing." "Get out of there," Orion ordered. "I won't make it," the operative replied. "But Earth will." As the charges detonated, the core began to pulse violently, sending shockwaves through the Starbreaker. The stealth ship, waiting nearby, managed to escape just as the massive vessel started to collapse. Back on Earth, the Empire's fleet was thrown into chaos. The destruction of the Starbreaker created a chain reaction, disabling several nearby ships and forcing the others to retreat. The Void Breakers, cut off from their command structure, were overwhelmed by Earth's forces and resistance fighters. In the command center, cheers erupted as the holographic map showed the Empire's fleet retreating. But Orion's expression remained somber. "This isn't over," he said quietly. "They'll be back. And next time, they won't underestimate us." Dr. Rice approached him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "But for now, we've won." As Earth celebrated its hard-fought victory, a new question lingered. How long could they keep the Galactic Empire at bay? And what new challenges would arise in the aftermath of their defiance? The war was far from over, but for the first time, humanity had proven it could stand against the might of the stars. The battle for Earth, the victory over the Starbreaker, was short-lived. Though Earth had struck a decisive blow against the Galactic Empire, the remaining fleet regrouped, preparing for a full-scale invasion. This time, their strategy was different: total planetary domination. They no longer saw Earth as a mere nuisance, but as a threat that needed to be eradicated. Commander Orion stood in the command center, his face grim as he watched the Empire's ships repositioning on the holographic display. They're not retreating. They're forming an attack formation. This isn't over. President Cortez, who had been rallying the global population, turned to him. What's their plan? They'll hit us with everything they've got, Orion replied. Orbital bombardments, ground invasions, biological warfare. Anything to break us. Dr. Rice interrupted, her voice urgent. And the Aegis shield is still offline. If they launch another assault, we won't be able to stop them. Orion nodded. Then we take the fight to them. On the edge of Earth's atmosphere, the Galactic Empire unleashed its fury. Swarms of fighters descended like locusts, targeting key cities and military installations. Orbital bombardments rained destruction, leaving scars across the planet's surface. But humanity didn't fold. Across the globe, resistance forces fought back with everything they had. Makeshift bunkers became command posts, city streets turned into battlegrounds, and ordinary civilians stood shoulder to shoulder with soldiers. The resistance wasn't just about survival. It was about defiance. The message was clear. Earth would not bow. In the heart of the chaos, Commander Orion led a daring counteroffensive. A fleet of Earth's remaining stealth ships launched a surprise attack on the Empire's orbital stations, crippling their supply lines. On the ground, Earth's engineers activated the Iron Spires, massive anti-orbital cannons hidden deep within mountain ranges. These cannons fired concentrated energy beams capable of piercing even the Empire's strongest shields. As the beams tore through enemy ships, Earth's defenders roared with hope. But the Empire wasn't unprepared. From the wreckage of their fleet emerged a terrifying new weapon: the Harbinger, a mobile command ship equipped with advanced AI and experimental weaponry. Unlike the Starbreaker, the Harbinger was agile, adaptive, and built for destruction. The Harbinger unleashed a swarm of drone fighters, each equipped with self-repairing armor and energy disruptors. These drones overwhelmed Earth's defenses, targeting the Iron Spires and disabling them one by one. Meanwhile, deep in the command center, Dr. Rice made a shocking discovery. While analyzing intercepted Empire transmissions, she uncovered plans for a planet-wide EMP strike. The Harbinger's AI had calculated that disabling Earth's remaining technology would pave the way for an unstoppable ground invasion. Rice rushed to Orion, clutching her datapad. If they launch this EMP, we'll lose everything: our communications, our weapons, even the Aegis shield if we get it back online. Orion's eyes narrowed. How do we stop it? Rice hesitated. The EMP is controlled directly by the Harbinger's AI. If we can infiltrate the Harbinger and plant a viral override, we might be able to disable the EMP and turn their drones against them. Orion didn't hesitate. Assemble another strike team. This is our only chance. The infiltration mission was unlike anything humanity had attempted before. Using the last of their stealth ships, the strike team approached the Harbinger under heavy fire. The ship's defenses were far more advanced than the Starbreakers, and every move felt like a gamble. The team boarded the Harbinger through a service hatch, moving quickly through its labyrinth of corridors. Inside, the ship felt alive, its walls pulsating with energy as the AI adapted to the intrusion. The team encountered automated defenses at every turn: laser turrets, plasma fields, and robotic sentries. Reyes, who had joined the mission as the team's tech expert, worked furiously to bypass the ship's systems. "This AI isn't like anything I've ever seen," she muttered. "It's learning from us in real time." The team fought their way to the ship's core, where the AI's central processing unit glowed like a miniature sun. Rice plugged in the viral override, her hands shaking as she worked. "Almost there," she whispered. But the AI fought back. The ship began to shake violently, its self-defense mechanisms activating. Drones poured into the chamber, forcing the strike team into a desperate battle. Rays typed faster. Just a few more seconds. The override finally took hold. The eyes glow flickered, and the drones froze mid-attack. One by one, they turned on their own fleet, tearing through the Empire's ships in a chaotic frenzy. On Earth, the tide of the battle shifted. The Harbinger's drones, now under Earth's control, decimated the Empire's forces. The Iron Spires were reactivated, blasting the remaining ships out of orbit. The Galactic Empire's fleet was in ruins, their invasion halted. But victory came at a cost. The strike team, including Dr. Reyes, didn't make it out. The Harbinger's core detonated moments after the virus took effect, taking the team with it. As the last of the Empire's ships retreated, Earth's leaders gathered in the battered command center. President Cortez addressed the planet once more. Today we stood together as one world, one people. We faced the might of an empire and proved that humanity is stronger than fear. But this is not the end. The Galactic Empire will return, and we must be ready. Orion, standing in the shadows, clenched his fists. He knew the battle for Earth was only the beginning. The Galactic Empire would not forgive this humiliation, and next time, they would bring even greater forces. As Earth began to rebuild, a strange signal was detected from deep space. It wasn't from the Empire. It was something else, something ancient. Humanity's defiance had not gone unnoticed, and new players were now entering the game. The war was far from over, and the galaxy was watching Earth's victory and a new threat. The sky over Earth was scared with streaks of fire and debris, remnants of the Galactic Empire's fleet that now lay shattered. Cities smoldered, oceans rippled with shockwaves from orbital strikes, and the atmosphere buzzed with the static of broken communications. Yet, against all odds, Earth had endured. Commander Orion stood on the observation deck of the rebuilt command center, watching the sunrise break through the haze of destruction. Behind him, technicians scrambled to restore critical systems, but the moment felt oddly still. They had won. Yet, Orion's unease lingered. Dr. Rice's absence weighed heavily on him. Her sacrifice had turned the tide, but the cost was immeasurable. The viral override she deployed not only crippled the Harbinger, but also disrupted key systems within the Galactic Empire's fleet. It had been a gamble that paid off with lives. President Cortez appeared beside him, her face grim but resolute. We've sent out rescue teams to every major city. Civilians are organizing relief efforts. For now, we have peace. For now, Orion echoed, his gaze distant. But we both know the Empire won't forget this. They'll come back with something bigger, stronger. They always do. Cortez nodded, which is why we need to use this time to prepare. What's left of our defenses? Not enough, Orion admitted. The Aegis shield is damaged. The Iron Spires are operational, but they won't hold against another full-scale assault. And we've lost some of our brightest minds. His voice faltered at the last part, but he quickly composed himself. We need allies. If the Empire controls the galaxy, there must be other worlds that oppose them. Cortez placed a hand on his shoulder. Then we find them. Far above Earth, amidst the wreckage of the Galactic Empire's fleet, a single escape pod drifted silently. Inside, Admiral Calith stirred, his body battered, and his pride shattered. The mighty Starbreaker was gone, his fleet decimated by a primitive world that shouldn't have stood a chance. Calith activated a beacon on his wrist, sending a signal deep into uncharted space. This isn't over, he hissed, his glowing red eyes burning with rage. Earth will burn, even if I have to bring the Voidborn into this. The mention of the Voidborn sent a chill through the galaxy. They were an ancient, enigmatic species, spoken of in whispers, merciless entities that thrived on chaos and conquest. If the Galactic Empire called on them, Earth would face a threat unlike anything it had ever seen. Back on Earth, Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to salvage what remained of the Empire's technology. Dr. Rice's notes, recovered from the wreckage of the Harbinger, contained hints of something extraordinary, a communication device capable of reaching distant worlds at faster-than-light speeds. Orion and his team activated the device, broadcasting a message into the void. To any who can hear this, this is Earth. We have stood against the Galactic Empire and survived. If you are out there, if you oppose them, we seek an alliance. Together, we can resist. The signal carried Earth's story across the galaxy, reaching distant civilizations that had long remained silent under the Empire's rule. On faraway worlds, oppressed species heard Earth's defiance and felt hope for the first time in generations. Weeks later, Earth's skies filled with new arrivals. Not invaders, but emissaries. Small, battered ships landed across the planet, their crews stepping forward cautiously. They were refugees, rebels, and outlaws who had fled the Empire's wrath, now drawn by Earth's call for unity. Among them was a figure who introduced themselves as Cal Vera, a former admiral of the Galactic Empire turned dissident. Vera carried critical intelligence about the Empire's future plans and a dire warning. The Empire won't return alone, Vera said, addressing the Global Council. They've contacted the Voidborn. If they agree to join the fight, you won't just face ships and soldiers. You'll face the darkness itself. Orion's jaw tightened. Then we prepare for the darkness. Meanwhile, far beyond the edges of the known galaxy, the Voidborn stirred. Massive, shadowy ships emerged from the depths of space, their forms almost organic, pulsating with a faint, ominous light. Their leader, a creature known only as the Harbinger of Oblivion, received the Empire's plea for assistance. They dared to defy the stars. The Harbinger rumbled, its voice reverberating through the void. Interesting. We shall see if this Earth is as resilient as they claim. On Earth, preparations began for a new era of warfare. Cal Vera shared designs for advanced ships and weapons, blending Earth's ingenuity with stolen Imperial technology. The Aegis shield underwent repairs, now powered by an experimental energy source derived from the Harbinger's core. The people of Earth, scared but unbroken, rallied once more. Cities turned into fortresses, factories churned out weapons, and a united humanity stood ready to face whatever came next. Orion addressed the Global Council and the growing coalition of alien allies. His voice carried a weight of determination that transcended borders and species. Earth is no longer just a single planet. We are the spark of resistance in a galaxy ruled by tyranny. The Empire called us weak, insignificant. We proved them wrong. Now we stand as one, human and alien alike, not just to defend Earth, but to free the stars. As the galaxy braced for the inevitable clash between the rising alliance and the combined forces of the Empire and the Voidborn, Earth's people looked to the heavens. They knew the battle would be unlike anything they had faced before, but they also knew this: Earth had defied the odds once, and it would do so again. For the first time in history, humanity wasn't fighting alone. The galaxy was watching, and this time, Earth was leading the charge. The story of Earth's defiance was far from over. It was only the beginning.